Leaked. Caitlin Clark completely dominates everyone in practice on day 4. And we have one of the best follows on Twitter pointing something out about Caitlin Clark and her physique, because yeah, it does look noticeably different than it did last season. And one only has to wonder, hey, did Kane Clark say, hold on, we're not doing as many weights this offseason as we did last year? I did a video a while back where Steph Curry was talking about the great Don Nelson, who's a really great NBA basketball coach, telling Steph Curry, the whispers started days ago. Caitlin Clark's physique noticeably different. A radical shift in her training regimen, a desperate measure, many believe, to proactively avoid what some feared was an inevitable recurrence of the physical toll endured last season. This isn't merely about tweaking a workout. It's a strategic, almost desperate calculation to ensure she stays on the court healthy and dominant by any means necessary. The commitment to her long-term career, especially after a brutal rookie season, hinges on these dramatic adjustments. Could this calculated move be the ultimate defense against succumbing to the intense physical demands of elite basketball? Finally putting to rest concerns about her durability and stamina about the great Don Nelson, who's a really great NBA basketball coach, telling Steph Curry, he was chewing out the training staff because he caught Steph Curry very early on lifting weights and Don Nelson was like,
don't do that.
You'll mess up his three-point shot.
All right.
I heard that a lot growing up. I heard it with pitching is where I had a buddy growing up. He played some low-level professional baseball. His dad never would let the specifics are stark. While her powerful legs remain robust, Clark looks considerably smaller in her upper body. Now, this isn't an accident. It's a deliberate choice, signaling a clear departure from her previous weightlifting focus. The goal to shed any bulk that might hinder her agility, her signature range, or most critically contribute to cumulative stress that could lead to another physical setback. This isn't just about aesthetics. It's a high-stakes gamble on what truly optimizes her unique playing style against the unforgiving grind of professional and international competition, risking criticism for the sake of endurance.
Kid you not.
So, let's go with Caitlin Clark making these comments about joining USA basketball. When you're at the U16 team, I remember they always talk about the senior national team, and obviously that's every young girl's dream when you're on those teams. And, they talk a lot about that team. And, only like one or two of us was ever probably going to be able to get a call up to be on the team, or let alone be able to get a call up to come and be a part of the camp and be around to the tremendous players that they have had on their teams over the course of, the many years and the many gold medals that they've won. And so I think for myself, that's kind of what you start thinking about is how long I've kind of been involved in USA basketball. This unconventional approach echoes a legendary cautionary tale from NBA history. The great Don Nelson, a revered basketball coach, once famously chewed out his training staff for allowing Steph Curry to lift weights early in his career. Nelson's fear was explicit that added muscle would somehow mess up Curry's unparalleled three-point shot. It sounds counterintuitive in today's strength-focused sports world. But this deep-seated concern about preserving natural mechanics runs through the highest echelons of athletic wisdom, suggesting Clark's decision might be rooted in a similar profound understanding of her craft. Okay, so she talks about the fact she's actually been cut prior, when being around this team trying to go for it previously, and we've well chronicled how big of a joke it was on the Olympic squad for Team USA, and, it was such a huge miss for trying to grow women's basketball. So, let's start here. Looks like Caitlin Clark told her training staff, quote, "No thank you. I'm going back to how I was my rookie year when Nelson's logic for Curry was simple. Protect the shot, the unique skill that makes him transcendent. This philosophy, prioritizing finesse and natural motion over brute strength, resonates deeply with Caitlin Clark's game. Her unprecedented range and quick release are her superpowers. Any physical change that could compromise that, even a seemingly beneficial one like increased muscle mass, becomes a potential threat. Her current physique suggests she or her new team believes less upper body weight is the key to maintaining her unparalleled accuracy and avoiding the systemic fatigue that plagued her for trying to grow women's basketball. So, let's start here. Looks like Caitlin Clark told her training staff, quote, "No thank you. I'm going back to how I was my rookie year when I was a top 3 player as a rookie and didn't miss a game." I mean, you look at this, it looks like Caitlin Clark's still pretty thick in her legs, but she looks, somebody pointed out, well, she's not flexing. No, she looks considerably smaller in her upper body. I think this isn't just an NBA phenomenon. The source material reveals a chilling parallel from baseball. A low-level professional pitcher whose father never allowed him to lift weights, fearing it would mess up his pitching motion. The dedication to preserving specific, highly technical athletic movements, even at the expense of generalized strength, is a recurring theme across sports. It underscores the immense pressure on athletes like Clark to protect their unique gifts, making her current physical transformation less about traditional strength and more about preserving the integrity of her explosive yet delicate mechanics. So let's go right here. Somebody pointed this out, and I thought it was pretty cool. Caitlin Clark, Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. One could argue, arguably the greatest athlete in the history of sports. Obviously, Tom Brady, Muhammad Ali would have something to say about that, but certainly in the game of basketball, he is the greatest of all time. How about this?
Yeah.
Wow, guys. I remember that original Dream Team. It was a so Clark shift isn't an isolated incident. It's a return to a specific, almost old-school school of thought in athlete development. She's essentially saying no thank you to a certain type of modern training regimen that might prioritize bulk over precision. She's choosing to go back to how I was my rookie year. A period she explicitly states she was a top 3 player and crucially didn't miss a game. This isn't about weakness. It's about a calculated return to a formula that proved successful in terms of both performance and, more importantly, consistent availability on the court. At times, just did not look happy. Even when she was playing, she looks much more stress-free. She kind of looks like she's got this massive weight lifted off her back, to be quite honest with you. More footage. Music, man, that was from a long way off, but nonetheless, I figured I'd show it to you guys anyway. Her recent comments about joining USA Basketball add another layer of intensity to these physical choices. Clark speaks with immense pride about her journey, remembering the U16 team discussions about the senior national team and every young girl's dream. This isn't just another camp. It's the culmination of a lifelong aspiration, a testament to her enduring commitment to be part of this elite group. To where those 3 letters demands absolute peak performance and, critically, an unwavering physical presence, making every decision about her body a monumental one. That's come out, and I've shown almost all of it to you guys over the last 3 days. I cannot imagine a world where she has left off USA Basketball. I just can't imagine. And we got to remember, by the time we get to the start of the WNBA season, if there's one, we'll only be a year away from the 2028 Olympics. It's pretty wild to think about.
Tell me what you think. Peace.
I'm out.
Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. The emotional stakes are undeniably high, especially with her revelation that she has actually been cut from USA basketball teams in the past. This isn't a new experience for her. Having endured the sting of not making the roster, she understands the ruthless competition and the need to be unequivocally ready. This history of being cut amplifies the pressure to be at her absolute physical best, cementing her place on the national stage and ensuring that no lingering physical issues provide an excuse for another heartbreaking exclusion. Paragraph break. This personal history of being cut converges with a public outrage over her recent Olympic snub, widely described as a huge miss for growing women's basketball. The collective disappointment was immense. Now, with a new cycle beginning, the spotlight on her physical readiness and performance for USA Basketball is brighter than ever. Her proactive physical changes are not just about personal health. They're a response to past criticisms and a clear statement that she is leaving no stone unturned in her quest for national team glory. Determined to avoid any perceived weaknesses. The sheer weight of expectation is further highlighted by the audacious comparison. Caitlin Clark and Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest athlete in sports history. This isn't hyperbole. It speaks to the transformative power Clark wields for her sport. Such comparisons demand not just talent, but also an almost superhuman level of physical and mental resilience. Her strategic physique adjustments are a testament to her understanding of this immense legacy she's building and the non-negotiable requirement to protect her body as an invaluable asset. The legendary Dream Team is invoked, recalling the all-inspiring star power of Magic, Larry, Michael, and Shaq. This sets an almost impossible benchmark for collective talent and individual impact. For Clark to even be considered in such company to potentially be a cornerstone of a future USA basketball squad implies she must maintain an extraordinary level of physical conditioning and availability. The memory of that original team's dominance only amplifies the pressure on Clark to safeguard her body for similar historic achievements. Recent practice footage offers a fascinating glimpse into her current state. Gone, it seems, is the visible stress that sometimes shadowed her last season, even when playing well. Instead, Clark now appears stress-free and happy on the court. This crucial mental shift, a palpable lightness, could be directly linked to her physical adjustments, suggesting that by optimizing her body, she has also liberated her mind, allowing her to play with a renewed sense of joy and freedom, a critical component for sustained peak performance. It looks like a massive weight lifted off her back. This psychological relief isn't just emotional. It profoundly impacts physical performance. When an athlete feels lighter mentally, they often move more freely physically, reducing muscle tension and improving recovery. This newfound happiness and calm in practice could be the most significant indicator that her calculated decision to alter her training and physique is paying dividends, providing her with the mental fortitude necessary to navigate the intense scrutiny and physical demands she faces daily. The practice footage continues to flow, showcasing her talent, incredible passes, long-range shots from a long way off. Her skill is undiminished, if not enhanced. The question remains, is this apparent ease of play, this renewed fluidity a direct result of her new physical approach? Is the reduction in upper body mass, allowing for quicker movements, a more effortless release, and ultimately a safer, less taxing way to play the game that often pushes athletes to their absolute physical limits? Having seen almost all the practice footage over the past 3 days, the observer feels confident in a bold prediction. I cannot imagine a world where she is left off USA basketball. This isn't just about her talent. It's about her commitment, her adaptability, and crucially, her apparent physical readiness. The sheer volume of positive practice indicators combined with her intentional physical choices creates an undeniable narrative that she is doing everything possible to ensure her spot on the most prestigious team. The looming shadow of the 2028 Olympics casts every practice, every physical decision in an even more critical light. We are only a year away from those games, once the WNBA season begins. This short timeline means there's no room for prolonged physical setbacks. Every ounce of training, every strategic adjustment to her body is a direct investment in her Olympic future, making her current proactive stance against potential injury an absolutely paramount and high-stakes endeavor, adding another layer of uncertainty. The speaker even mentions, if there is one WNBA season, highlighting the fragility of the professional landscape. This potential instability only magnifies the importance of her individual physical resilience and readiness. Regardless of league operations, Clark's commitment to her body and her game remains constant, a personal imperative to ensure she is always prepared for the next challenge, whether it's a club game or an international tournament. The stark reality behind all these discussions is clear. Should Caitlin Clark suffer another significant physical setback or injury, the reverberations would be catastrophic, not just for her career, but for the entire trajectory of women's basketball. The foe again in the title implicitly points to this constant nagging fear. Her strategic, almost radical physical transformation is the ultimate defense against this lurking danger. A desperate plea to her phenomenal talent isn't sidelined by preventable physical ailment. Her current physical state, described as still pretty thick in her legs, but considerably smaller in her upper body, is the precise manifestation of her calculated gamble. It's a targeted, almost surgical approach to her physique, optimizing for agility and shooting mechanics while minimizing the perceived risks of excessive upper body bulk. This isn't merely about personal preference. It's a professional athlete's deeply informed decision, a bold redefinition of what peak performance looks like for her game on her term. So, the ultimate question hangs heavy in the air. Will this radical physical transformation, This deliberate step back from conventional strength training truly secure Caitlin Clark's legacy, keep her on the court, and finally prevent the dreaded injured again from becoming a painful reality. The fate of a generation-defining phenomenon, a player with the power to reshape an entire sport, now seemingly rests on this audacious gamble to redefine her physical presence. The stakes for her, for USA basketball, and for the very future of the game have never been higher.